just because Kyrsten Sinema isn't out there giving speeches necessarily like on video being hounded by activists doesn't mean that she's not exerting her dark influence on our politics. I happened to buzz by Axios this morning and got to see this headline. Scoop, Sinema throws cold water on Build Back Better revival. So many of you watching this are probably like, what do you mean Build Back Better revival? That wasn't gonna happen. And look, in the end, it turns out that you're gonna be right, but there were people who were pushing for it behind closed doors. And apparently she is privately concurring with Joe Manchin, who wants to stop this from being renewed. What many, I think, rightly consider the only chance the Democrats have to stop horrific, historic losses in the midterms, she is working behind closed doors to make sure that they fail, that they don't deliver on their promises, they don't deliver for the American people, and they get absolutely destroyed in the midterms. She's apparently going and telling her donors, the only people that she will actually talk to these days, that most of her focus is on the $10 billion COVID-19 relief bill, the so-called China competition legislation, and modifications to the Electoral Reform Act. A Sinema spokesperson, by the way, declined to comment to Axios. Axios made the mistake of not donating to her campaign first. So she wants to focus on stuff about like ginning up more tension with China. The Electoral Reform Act, fine, that's an incredibly limited thing. Basically about the certification of the vote, super limited, super easy. It's a slam dunk. She's focused on it, and maybe we get some COVID relief, which doesn't look like it's even gonna materialize, Brett. But that's what she wants to focus on, not on like the hallmark thing that Biden and the Democrats ran on in 2020.
I mean, I know. I'm looking at John's notes. I'm honestly not even mad. Like, cause what does that mean? You can't get. Like you're just past, there's a thing that's like, past cure am I now reason is past care. Like since no one can even hope to reason with anyone.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do, but that makes me insane. And that's why after these moments where it's like, what date is it? What year is it? Sinema's still kowtowing to corporate interests to block wildly popular legislation that would do nothing but benefit average Americans in this time.
Yeah.
Same story, different day.
Exactly. The reason I said I'm not even mad specifically at her. I mean, I am, obviously. She's doing exactly what she's been doing, and she has demonstrated, as we said, a loophole in the political system. There are people who are beyond any persuasion, any ethical obligation to their constituents. She is one of them. So I can't be specifically continually mad at her because we knew that she would do this. And she has continued to do it with no additional pressure from any of the people who have an obligation to at least try. Whether it's Democratic leadership, whether it's Joe Biden himself. If the people can't get through to her, and clearly they can't because they're not donating millions of dollars to her, they have an obligation to try something new. And if they keep doing the same thing, clearly with Sinema, they're gonna get the same outcome. And even here, Axios is at least reporting on this. That's good considering the fawning coverage of her that they've done in the past. But even then, they talk about like the big picture. That I don't know if we're gonna have time to really get to all this stuff. And if you jump ahead to the last graphic, it's like the bottom line is if and when she gets engaged, the talks will take on new urgency. But is that the big picture? Is that the bottom line? Like, is that the takeaway of all that we've learned from her single-handed nearly ability to kill the minimum wage increase, corporate tax increases? The bottom line is there will be new urgency. No, there's a big picture here, but it's about something far more fundamental than the most recent wrinkle of one corrupt senator's political activity. It is far more fundamentally about our politics, about the ability of donors to determine outcomes, the ineffectualness of even mass pressure, like in her state, where her numbers have absolutely tanked because of great work by activists there to get through to her. That's the big picture, and that's what's unfortunately being missed by so many, even those who deign to cover this ridiculous, ever-evolving story.
Right, and I think that the left is tearing itself apart over what to do about the inaction in Congress. I would say that trying to get the Sinemas and trying to get existing Congress people replaced with Congress people who are more about the cause is the way to go. That's the decision that I think a lot of us have made that makes sense. And I think focusing on motivating these people and voting them out of existence if that fails, is a good strategy, but it still needs to go within like the American system, which is single member first past the post, and not just like abandoning all hope and voting for like a random third party person that just, there is literally no hope unless you eliminate one of the parties of that ever materializing.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.